right. Well, welcome to episode number 1 of Shift. I'm Anthony Cadigan, and I run a video production company in New England called Cadigan Films. Today, I'm joined by Nick Paydos of Direct Hire Global, and I wanted to bring Nick on today to discuss some of the challenges that companies and job seekers alike are facing right now with the COVID-19 pandemic. Nick, why don't you just introduce yourself and tell us what it is that you do?
Sure. My name's Nick Paydos. I'm the managing partner of Direct Hire Global out of Palmer, Mass. We are a direct staffing and direct hire firm. So what we do is we find people employment.
So you work with job seekers and companies alike, correct?
Yes, we do. So what our function is there's no cost for someone to come to us and tell us that they're looking for employment. And what we are is we're kind of the medium between them and the companies that are hiring locally and extended.
Got it. So how has COVID-19 impacted staffing in general?
The virus it's really had a strange, broad impact. There's a lot of companies out there that are still hiring. There's a lot of industries that are actually doing better now than they were before, but it is presenting a lot of challenges. There's a lot of new hurdles that people need to kind of learn how to navigate to find a position.
Are there specific industries that are thriving right now?
There are. Everybody has seen the news where the medical manufacturing industries are being sent into overdrive, and they just had a bunch of money pumped into them, and they're doing a ton of hiring. There's other aspects too. Logistics is another big one. Amazon's huge. Everybody's seen what Amazon's doing, hiring. What was it? I think the last count was over 100,000 people to help ship packages, to help ensure that social distancing is being observed, but people can still get the things that they need and want. So there's a ton of industry out there right now.
So there are positions out there right now that need to be filled, is what you're saying?
There are. We have a fairly good selection of open positions currently on our end, and we're always getting new things in. So there's work out there. It's just a little bit harder to find.
So how are companies like screening right now, conducting interviews? Like what's changed for companies at this point?
So I'm not going to try to explain what other companies are doing. I just want to tell you what we're doing. So Direct Hire Global, what we do now is we're really concentrating on remote interviews. Everybody's seen that on the news and read it on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and all that. So what we do is we're utilizing modern technology. We have things set up for Facebook Live interviews, Skype like we're doing now, Zoom, things of that nature. And then we'll go through the interview process from there. And if there's anything that needs to be physically done within the office, we'll set an appointment and invite people out.
So a lot more kind of, remote interviewing, that kind of thing. I mean, I know that, not all companies are doing remote interviewing, but for those that are, do you have any kind of tips for, remote interviewing like with Skype or?
Yeah. So generally what I tell everybody is I know it's a difficult time and the kids are home and everyone's worried about, the kids are going to walk in, they're going to make a ton of noise, they're going to hear the cartoons and banging and screaming. We all expect that. One of my big suggestions is if, you have young children and they still take naps, try to see if the interviewer will schedule it around their nap time. Just say, I have kids and their nap time's about noon or 1 or 2, and see if that accommodation can be made. And if it can't, just try to find a quiet room. Make sure your background is clean like mine is. I took everything off the walls to make sure it wasn't cluttered and everybody was able to focus on Anthony and myself. And just be aware that we know the kids are home. So if they do walk into the room and they make noise, it's nothing to be embarrassed about. The usual I'm sorry stuff, that'll suffice. But don't be upset or embarrassed that the children walked in. We're all expecting that.
Gotcha. That's solid. So what are some of the ways that you're able to help job seekers right now? Like what are some of the things that people are getting in touch with you to help them about?
Sure. So myself and my partners, I have two other partners in the company. We've developed a few things on our website. So people that don't have resumes, there's an extremely simple, it's just a Google form link on our website. It asks you basic questions: name, phone number, where you worked in the past, maybe a reference or two, and that'll get sent over to us, and that'll help us help you build a resume. And then what we do for people that currently have resumes is we take the positions that we have open, and what we'll do is we'll highlight and maybe move around some keywords to really show the companies that this is who they're looking for, because HR managers are really being inundated with resumes right now. We are being inundated with people looking for work because there's 6 million people out of work. So what we try to do is take the keywords in their resume and help them pop. So when it's scanned, those words that, or those positions or those experiences that, people are looking for really jump out and help the candidate stand out a little bit better in this new online impersonal job selection process that we now have.
So in other words, really trying to just, put the job seeker in the best light, in addition to helping, companies staff up, you kind of go into bat for the people that are looking for work and trying to, put them in the best light. Am I hearing you correctly, or?
Yeah, that's correct. My partner, Alicia, she's been in the industry for 20 years. She's gone through every course you can think of for resume writing, hiring, that whole process. She's extremely skilled in it, and she takes the reins on that aspect, and she really helps people stand out and almost read like they're scholars in their field. And it's really she's a great asset, and I think that's a really great asset for job seekers to have as well.
Excellent, thank you. So, I mean, we've talked a little bit about some of the ways that you can help people looking for work. I mean, what about companies that are looking to staff up right now? What advice do you have to offer to them?
So, for the companies that we hire for and the companies that we're in the middle of negotiating to hire for, what we offer and what we do with this new virus out there is there's a lot of fear. People don't want to let new people into buildings, especially with the way how urgent the need for these materials that a lot of these medical manufacturers are putting out. To have one of them shut down because someone brought in the virus and spread it among their working population would be devastating, not only to the company itself, but also to the community, the doctors, the nurses that need the equipment, and the people in the community that need it as well to get better. So what we do is we act as the buffer. So you may have some strange new questions that come up. Before we invite you in the office, have you been exposed to anyone that's had the illness? Have you had a fever? The basic questions that every employer's asking now. They're even taking temperatures at Walmart and McDonald's before they go to work. So, you have to be ready for those things. And that's something we offer the companies that we're working with, is we're now the screening and the buffer for them. We're kind of their first line of defense for their working population inside their facility to ensure their continuity so they can continue building, continue supplying our medical staff and our communities with the things that we need so badly right now.
Excellent. So let me just kind of go off topic here not off topic, but let me kind of just skew to the side here. So why did you,
Sure.
or how did you get involved in staffing? Like how did that come about?
Sure. So I owned a service company prior to this for 11 years. Before that, I was in the military, served my community, my nation. My service company was wildlife removal. I used to tell everybody when they asked what I did, I wrestled bears for a living, But there came a point where I had to hire. And hiring for a field like that is not simple. You're dealing with dirty places, dangerous animals. Wild animals are cute and cuddly, but they're dangerous. They're going to cause you harm when you try to remove them, or potentially harm people in the house. So it's very hard to find someone to fill that niche. So I learned very fast. I had great access to people in my family and my life that were in the staffing industry that helped kind of teach me how to find who I needed and what avenues to go down. So I gained a lot of experience through that, and that kind of pushed me to start doing this. We had some kids and the rabies exposure and mange exposure that animals presented. I didn't want to expose my children to walk in the house and have everybody get a disease from me. No pun intended at this point in time.
Right.
But, so I switched gears and I kind of analyzed the situation and what I learned how to do through that process, and people I've met, like my partners. David is a great asset, a great CFO that we have, and Alicia's a great recruiter and a great salesperson and a great all-around asset to us with her 20 years plus of knowledge. And, we kind of came together as this great cohesive team and really found another way to help the community in the best way that we knew how with our talents. And the best way that I feel you could really make an impact. And the best way I think to make an impact is to really help the community at large find a safe, secure, and better way to excel in life, utilizing the experiences they have and their dreams and ambitions, and really help find people that future that they want. There's no better way to do it, and there's no better satisfaction than finding someone that position that's going to put them where they want to be.
Awesome, man. I really appreciate that. I mean, I think, one of the things too that you're kind of talking about is pivoting and coming from one industry or one career, and kind of pivoting into something new, which is, what a lot of people are having to do right now. And I know that there's a lot of people that have had careers in specific industries, and maybe right now they're out of work and they're not sure if they can continue that career path. But I think that if people are willing to pivot a little bit and to shift, if you will, they can probably find new opportunities in other industries. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, let me tell you, Anthony, there's so much opportunity out there. Everybody has a talent. Your talent, coming from the film industry, now you can't go out and you can't do the photo shoots or the filming that you used to do. You can't do the big conventions. You can't do this or that. I can't go out and walk into a company and wander around and talk to everybody and do what I normally do, So what everyone has to know is that you have talents. You were successful in what you did before for a reason, and there's no reason for you not to be able to look at what you've done. Everybody's on the same playing field now. Everybody's almost in the same position. And you have all these resources, you have all this past experience. Utilize Facebook, utilize social media, get together with your friends on there, and really compare your talents, see where you guys can enrich each other and kind of grow stronger and come up with something new. And if you want to get into a different industry, if you want to get into medical manufacturing, if you want to get into defense manufacturing or aerospace, and you have questions, you can always come to us and we can talk to you about it. If you were an engineer for, say, a game company and you designed video games and now, you're not doing that anymore, or board games or something, and you have that skill and ability, I can tell you 1,000 different places that could use you. That could definitely make you a better life and open up new avenues you never thought existed.
Excellent. I mean, yeah, I think that's really helpful. I mean, the typical, types of jobs that you're seeing right now, I mean, without getting too much into detail, are you typically staffing for, full-time employment, for temporary work? Like what are you really seeing right now in terms of like trending, positions that you're filling for?
So what Direct Hire Global does, we do hire temp staff, but it's all temp to hire. We focus on companies that are going to keep you full time and push you to your potential, not someone that's going to keep you for a day or two and not respect you as an employee. So everything we have, even if you're on our payroll, you're a set amount of time and then you're their employee. Our goal for the community is to find you somewhere where you're going to last, you're going to grow, you're going to become a better person, and you're going to be able to provide better for your families. So as far as what we have, everything we have is temp to hire. If it's temp, we also do direct recruitment. We recruit for logistics companies, drivers, deliverers, warehouse people, you name it. And, we'll try to find you a position in it if we don't have it. There's plenty of places out there that are hiring. And we always offer our services to the community, even as an advocate for you if possible. Unless you're a rocket scientist, because I have no idea where to put you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that there's a lot, like you said, a lot of people are finding themselves in kind of this new world and this new normal, and trying to kind of navigate through. I know that there are some people that are sort of in between right now, and looking into unemployment to potentially bridge the gap. I mean, is that something that you can help folks out with?
Yeah, definitely. When we closed our offices to the public, we had put notices up on the windows and also on our website and Facebook page that if anybody, even if you're not our employee and you had an unemployment question, you needed help with a form or where to find information, you could definitely call us. We don't give legal advice. We're not lawyers. But we definitely give the best guidance that we can. The great news is this morning at 7 a.m., the state of Massachusetts, that's where we are, had updated their COVID-19 unemployment policy with the CARES Act. And what the CARES Act does is that adds on an additional $600 on top of what anyone that applies for unemployment is receiving. So if your unemployment check is, say, $150 a week, the CARES Act is adding an additional $600. So now it's $750 a week. And that's for 13 weeks. And that was just updated. There's also a process for the self-employed, and anybody that is a 1099 contract employee or owns their own business and has questions can definitely get in contact with me or my team, and we'll help you with that process as well. It's not unlocked on the state website, but all the CARES Act, the portion of the CARES Act that covers that is public knowledge. So if you can't find the chapter and the paragraph that's covered in, I have stacks of paperwork and, quick access files that I can send you over with the links to that info.
That's amazing. So, and just to be totally upfront and clear, like you're not charging people to help with this service. Like this is something that you're doing free of charge, correct?
No. 99% of the stuff we do is free of charge for the community. It's always free for small local businesses in our area. Any guidance that we can offer, there's obviously no charge for that. Information is free. With the internet now, it's not impossible to find anything. It's just difficult. And I know through experience that running a company, you're very pressed for time, especially now with having to homeschool children and stuff. Now you're extremely pressed for time, and not everybody can be up until 7 a.m. or whenever to look this stuff up. So we're always here as a resource for free. Our hiring process, it's state of the art, streamlined. It's the best process out there, and that everybody has access to. All they have to do is give us a shout or a call. Any companies that are hiring currently that are having a hard time or have questions can always call. Answers are free, And then if you want us to place people with you, we can go over that process.
Awesome. Nick, let me just ask you why, with all that you're doing for people right now, like, why do you do what you do?
So I had an interesting childhood. It was a little rough at times and a little good at times, like everybody else's. And what that did is it really drove me to want to help other people. When I was 19, I joined the military. I served my country. And then from there, when I got out, I thought, what's the next best thing I could do to help the community? I didn't want to be a police officer because I didn't want people to not like me. Got that weird personality kink. And then I came up with using what I knew how to do. Ever since I was 6 years old, I'd always go camping and hunting and fishing, and I would always do those things. So I translated that into a business, and that's when I came up with Alpha Wildlife was the name of that company. And what we did is we went out and removed nuisance wildlife from houses. We worked with the state. We worked with airports, taking care of birds and stuff, and that was great. And that was a way to help the community and also help my family and better our life. So when we had kids and it was time for that to end, I sat back and I talked to my friends and I leveraged my talents and my abilities with their talents and their abilities. We came up with this great new baby that we have, which is Direct Hire Global. It's another aspect to help the community at its core. And the core of the community is the people. If the people don't have access to, guidance through employment and guidance through success and a place to call when they're having trouble, then, where are we really?
Right.
You can't solve any type of problem without really guiding people to a solution. And that's what Direct Hire Global is. It's the lighthouse in the confusion that is internet job searching.
Love it. Love it. Well, Nick, listen, thank you very much for your time. I think you definitely shared a lot of helpful information. Tell people where they can find you.
Sure. You can find us at our website, and that's www.directhireglobal.com. You can also find us on Facebook at Direct Hire Global. Our phone number is 413-289-9585, and that's 24 hours a day. That gets forwarded to somebody, so someone's always willing to answer. And
awesome.
If I can add.
Oh, yeah, sure.
My kids cut my hair. The boys cut our hair into mohawks. So please don't think this is how I always look. But the kids think it's awesome, so I think it's awesome.
I think it's awesome. And I shared before we went live, I shared I do the same thing. Like, if I let my hair grow out a little too much, I try to do something cool with it, and I always mess it up. So I think it looks great. I think it's a great look. Tell the kids they did a great job. Thank you, Nick, again. I really appreciate the time that you spent with us today. That's it for our first episode here. And I want to thank everybody for watching. And we'll see you next time right here on Shift.